The UNC Pembroke Braves football team finished its season with a 10-2 record, following a second-round loss in the playoffs at North Alabama. Full coverage of that game and a season wrap-up is coming up on the Black and Gold Report. The men's basketball team won its only game last week, a 90-78 triumph over Chowan at home. The Braves are off until December 10th when they travel to Barton to take on the Bulldogs. UNCP women's basketball took the Division I UNC Greensboro Spartans to overtime, but came up just short in an exhibition game. The Braves also played their home opener, in which they were defeated by Wingate. UNCP women's basketball is back in action today when they travel to the Apprentice School for a 5:30 p.m. contest. Black and Gold Report starts now. Welcome to another episode of the Black and Gold Report presented by Pepsi, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm Cameron Songer, and this week we wrap up the UNCP football season with head coach Shane Richardson after the team's second-round NCAA playoff game. We'll also talk to Comfort Johnson, the head coach of the Spirit Squad, and Jack Slavin, director of fan engagement. But first, it's my pleasure to be joined in studio one more time by head coach Shane Richardson. Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Cam.
Let's talk about this last game. Your season came to an end last weekend with a 41-17 loss on the road against North Alabama. What were some of your big takeaways from that game?
I think, the first thing that comes to mind is extremely proud of the season that we were able to put together this year. And to make it to a stage like North Alabama in the second round of the playoffs and be able to play against a great tradition as they have and a great storied program that they have. I thought it was a great honor to be able to do that, and can't say enough about just the guys on our team and the coaches on our team that put so much effort into this season and the commitment that we made, and to be able to get to this far. And it was a fun experience, although you didn't want it to end like that. But I thought North Alabama came, ready to play really in the second half. I thought we did a great job of staying with them in the first half. I thought our guys had great energy. They came out ready to play. They were hungry. And I think just executionally, we didn't do some things to put ourselves in a position for a full 4 quarters. And I think the Lions actually woke up in the second half. And they had great personnel. They had guys that were big, fast, strong. And they started to play to their potential. And that credit to them for doing that in the second half.
Let's jump right in. We'll start with the first quarter. North Alabama took the opening possession down the field for a touchdown, and it took a while for the Braves offense to get going before a 44-yard touchdown pass to B.J. Bunn to tie the game near the end of the first quarter. What was the early vibe like on the sideline?
Well, I think it was great. I really felt a similar vibe at Valdosta State the week before. And guys believed, they stayed the course, they were helping each other, they were encouraging each other, there was great energy. And it was a really good feeling to know that everybody on that sideline they were working together and trying to do everything that you asked them to do. And so in the first half, I felt like we lost the momentum a little bit there at the end of the second quarter. But for the most part, I think we had a really good belief and confidence and understanding of what it was going to take to be in that game. And they displayed that for the first part.
In the middle of the second quarter, UNCP kicked a field goal to tie the game, and then really sort of the big play in that first half on the bad snap by UNA, a fumble recovered by UNCP for a touchdown to take a 17-10 lead. Did that play change the mindset at all going forward?
Well, I think it just added to the momentum. I talk about momentum a lot with our team, and you got to be able to do 3 things with momentum during the course of a game, and you got to be able to create it. You got to be able to sustain it, and then you also got to be able to change it when you need to. And so that play right there definitely added to our momentum that I think we had going. Even though it was a tight game there, I still thought that it really played into our favor for the momentum shift.
Any momentum, it wouldn't really last for the Braves in that first half as UNA scored the last 14 points of the half in order to take a 24-17 lead. Take us inside the locker room a little bit there at halftime.
Yeah, I think it was good. It was confident. Nobody was panicking at that point. I challenged the guys to say, you know what, this is one half of football that you've got to lay everything out there and you've got to give everything you have. And we knew it wouldn't be easy. We knew that going into the game, and we knew we'd have to go out and compete and work and fight for it. And that was the challenge at halftime. And the challenge was also that everybody just executed a little bit better, tightened up their job responsibilities, and make sure that we play one play at a time and be able to finish it the right way. And unfortunately, I don't know that we did enough of that in the second half, but that certainly was the message.
Yeah, in that second half, UNA basically shutting out the Braves, ultimately scoring 31 unanswered en route to the victory. What were some of the differences, I guess, between the first and the second half?
Well, I think defensively, the Lions actually, I think they tightened things up a bit, and I don't think we were able to run the ball as effectively as we were there in the first half. I think we actually executionally kind of did some things that kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Special teams, I thought, did not really help our cause much at all. We usually have a difference in terms of changing the field position and maybe getting some points or some big punts out of Matt. I didn't think that really took place on Saturday there in the second half, and I thought that hurt us. Defensively, we got put in some tough positions, gave up a couple big plays, and I just think collectively it just kind of started to unravel a little bit there. And once that happens, you're trying to keep the full energy and the full intensity throughout the four quarters, and they just had a lot of firepower behind them, and I think it was hard for our guys to sustain that throughout the whole entire game.
All right, Coach, we need to take our first time out. We'll be back with more with head coach Shane Richardson right after this.
Braves fans, season tickets for the 2016-17 home basketball season are on sale now, and premium chairback seats for the Peach Belt Conference's most electric environment can be purchased for as little as $70. This season's package includes 14 men's games and 13 women's games and can be purchased by calling 910-521-6361 or visiting uncpbraves.com/tickets.
Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. I'm Cameron Songer, joined once again by UNCP football coach Shane Richardson. Coach, let's sort of wrap up the season a little bit now. The Braves finished the season 10-2. It's the most wins in the program's 10-year history and included the first NCAA playoff win in school history as well. What will you remember most about this season?
I think this team, to me, will be remembered in my mind as a team that was just resilient. And I think all year long, our character was in each and every game, we faced some sort of adversity, and obviously that's the nature of football. But we were faced with a lot of difficult circumstances that I think we overcame, and that didn't affect the way that we just bounced back and continued to play throughout the four quarters. And I think that in general really sticks out to me about this group. Obviously, they did some things that were historic in terms of UNCP football's history. I think the seniors, they have done a great job of sticking with the program in the last 3 years. And so to see them be able to work into this and have a group that rallies behind what we're able to do this year, I think that's really neat to see, and I'm really, really proud of our guys.
Looking ahead at next year a little bit, the Braves will carry a 10-game home winning streak into next season. What is it that makes Grace P. Johnson Stadium such a difficult place for opponents to come into and play?
I think we've got a great fan base. I think our fans do a great job of coming out and supporting us. I think our guys feel extremely comfortable with it. We try to get on our stadium grass as much as possible, and we'll actually practice every Monday night throughout the season on that playing surface. And I think guys getting used to being under the lights and being in the environment of the stadium, I think actually helps us out a lot. And so I think that's something in terms of our comfort level we're used to. And I just think we take a lot of pride in being able to know that it's our home turf and it's our environment, and we don't want anybody to come in and disrupt that.
With the season in the rearview mirror, what's the plan for the next few months in the immediate future? Do you really get much of a break?
Well, we'll actually start right into recruiting here this week, and since we did make it for the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, we had to push that back a little bit, which is a good problem to have. So we'll be scrambling a little bit here throughout the month of December to try to get caught back up. But we'll be able to go out and be able to visit recruits and get on the road and visit high schools. And that's what we'll do for really December and January. December, there'll be about 10 days that we'll be able to take off for Christmas throughout New Year's, and so that'll be a nice little break for the players, and obviously the coaches need that as well. But then when we come back and the semester starts again, we'll be ready to go into off-season workouts, and you know, we've talked a lot about that with our team this year. Those workouts make the difference, and those workouts is really where it starts for the success that we're going to have for the next year. And so guys need to take that extremely serious and be ready to go. And then obviously we'll work into spring ball, and you know, before we know it, we'll be talking back again here next fall again.
Yeah, it seems like spring football is practically right around the corner all the time. Plenty of underclassmen made an impact for the Braves this season, and several starters will be set to return for the Braves next season. What are some of the position groups you feel most confident about, and some where you have some concerns perhaps?
Well, I think a lot of positions had to play young players, which now bodes well for the years to come. And so offensive line will lose one senior. Linebackers will lose one senior. Defensive backs will lose one senior. Those are all groups that will have a lot of good youth and youthful experience that'll come up and help us for the next few years. I think obviously the kicking position will lose Matt Davis, which will be a big loss there. And we'll have to replace him, and we'll have to get better at that position. Wide receivers, obviously we lose B.J. Bunn. But I think we do have some capable guys of stepping up and playing some big roles for us there as well. Defensive line will lose three senior guys that were a big contribution for that defensive line being so disruptive this year. And so we'll have to have young guys be able to step up into those roles as well. But all in all, I don't feel like it's a major flush of the program in terms of a mass exodus by a senior class. We lose 14 of them, and I think there were some very, very good players there. Although I think there's a lot of really good young players coming up that can really contribute to our success in the future.
Yeah, some of the biggest shoes to fill, you mentioned it a little bit already. All-American wide receiver B.J. Bunn finishing as the all-time leading receiver in program history, and kicker and punter Matt Davis, who made 84% of his field goals, breaking an NCAA career record. What legacy does the senior class leave behind as a whole?
I think one of the things that I think really sticks out to me about the senior class is 2 years ago they were all in the program when we went 2-8. And that was the first year that I was the head coach here. There was maybe a lot of doubt in their minds, but by a lot of others. But they chose to stay here. They chose to commit. They chose to try to better the program, and they did that. And in the next year, they were able to put together a 6-4 record, and we challenged them once again. And then this year, they obviously responded with a 10-2 record and did some really special things. And so I think just the commitment and the contribution that they made from the time that we took over in 14 until where we are right now, they were able to raise the bar, and they've been able to set the benchmark now a little bit higher. And I think in the years to come, the next classes will have to step up to what those seniors were able to lead the charge with. And so I'm really proud of them for that. And they're just a great group of guys, and they really bought into the system. And I think those things are the things that I'll remember most about them.
Coach, congrats again on a great season, and thanks again for stopping
by.
by.
Thanks, Cameron. I appreciate all of Brave Nation and their support, and it's been a special year, so I really appreciate it.
Thanks again, Coach. Stay tuned to the Black and Gold Report. We'll be right back with Spirit Squad coach Comfort Johnson.